Hello guys, welcome to a new Get Rekt news video. Well, today it's not really a news video because I wanted to take a look at some review scores for some recent released big AAA games. Two namely that are coming out this week. Ghostwire Tokyo and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Both got their reviews. And I really just wanted to take a quick look at how the two are both scoring in respective of their reviews. And take a deeper look in general, both on what they do well and not. So let's first start with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Review scores for that came out I think yesterday from now that I'm recording this video. It's the 24th of March. It's sitting now at a 80 Metacritic score, which is pretty good. If you score an 80 on Metacritic most of the time, it tends to be a good game. I'm still a little bit though on the fence on buying it myself. I've seen a YouTuber doing a review for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. MrMaximum plays, really good YouTuber. I really highly recommend him to check him out. He makes some really cool stuff on YouTube, gaming related content. He said in his review that the writing for the game isn't really for the, shall I say, mainline Borderlands fan. Especially if you like Borderlands 2 with the dark humor, stuff like that, the more adult sense of writing. The writing has some flaws in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands from what I've seen, but he did say that it was a good game though, especially on gameplay fronts. From the criticism that I have seen from most reviewers, gameplay is good, but they don't really go far in the tabletop trope, shall I say. Because you still have a lot of Borderlands kind of stuff, like you have the manufacturers that make the weapons, but they don't go really far into that fantasy kind of thing that they want to portray with the Dungeons and Dragons setting. I can't really judge it because I haven't played it. I'm still on the fence of buying it myself, but 80 is a good score. Most of the time when a game gets 80, it tends to be a good game on Metacritic. Keep in mind though, Metacritic is just a site that basically takes all the scores from the internet, from all the journalists, and puts them into one average kind of score. But if we go to OpenCritic, I like to go both to Metacritic and OpenCritic. Let's take a look at OpenCritic. It's the same score, 80. What I like about OpenCritic is they take also YouTubers' reviews into account, which I tend to look more to than really the mainstream critics like IGN, GameSpot. I don't really usually care about them. I care more about the more hardcore individual YouTuber critics. I like to watch them more, like ACG, Skill Up, MrMaximum. Those three are really good reviewers. Angry Joe, but most of the time Angry Joe doesn't really have his game up front. He never gets codes. And you know he is a little bit vocal sometimes. So that's probably why he doesn't get review codes. But there's also a 81% critics recommended on OpenCritic, so that means 81% of the critics also recommend the game. So that's actually a pretty good score for Wonderlands, and maybe I will buy the game eventually, but I won't be reviewing it myself for Ace Eyes. I already have my hands full with Ghostwire Tokyo that I want to review because they are coming out on the same day. I will probably still end up buying it, but maybe at a sale. So I'm going to wait a little bit before biting the bullet for this game. I was actually one of the only persons who liked Borderlands 3. There was a lot of criticism on Borderlands 3's villains. And they are annoying as fuck, I know. But I always wondered, like, it's it was on purpose that they were annoying. They wanted to parody this like YouTuber, Twitch live streamer thing. They wanted to make these annoying personalities. So I thought like that it was on purpose, and if it was on purpose, good job, boy, you made them annoying. So Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is looking pretty good. Let's take a look at Ghostwire Tokyo. That's actually a game I am personally more excited for. The review scores for that one is a little bit lower, but I have something more to tell about that. So Ghostwire Tokyo receives a 75 on Metacritic. Now, when a game receives in the 70s on Metacritic, it's a little bit more iffy on its quality. But there is a big but. There's already a user score, and that's actually in the 80%. So, well, 8.0, which is also 80 if you do it on 100. From the user side of things, there are only 42 ratings though, so that's not a lot. Keep that in mind. But usually games from Tango, the studio that made this game, they usually score this like in this range in the 70s. Evil Within 1 and 2 also scored in this range, and they were still good games. So when a game scores below 80, it doesn't really already mean that it's a bad game, but you need to be wary. For instance, when a Ubisoft game tends to lower the score under the 80, I am more afraid than something from this studio. So what are the criticisms people have, or well, the critics shall I say, for Ghostwire Tokyo? It's really mixed. Some say that the story is great and that the combat is a little bit repetitive. But I've also seen people saying that the combat is really excellent and diverse and in depth, but that they were disappointed with the story. So this is really weird. It's just a lot of critics are disagreeing on each other what to think of it. So there is a lot of diverse opinions on Ghostwire Tokyo, which makes me even more interested in it, to be honest. There isn't this really consensus type of thing with this game. I also wanted to say on Ghostwire Tokyo, I wanted to quickly look at Evil Within 2. Evil Within 2 was their previous game. It was a horror game. It scored 76 on Metacritic. And the user score is 8.2, is higher. I can tell you, I played the Evil Within 2. It's a great horror game. And I do not understand the reviews for that one. Maybe it felt a bit too much like Last of Us, but I don't think it's a bad thing that it feels like Last of Us, to be honest, because Last of Us the first one at least is a great game. So it had some really good tension. Story-wise, it was okay, but just when it came to gameplay in the Evil Within 2, it was really good, in my opinion. I am not really afraid for Ghostwire Tokyo, so I'm going to check it out myself, how the game is. I do have an edge with like Japanese stuff. I love Japanese settings, so I have a little bit of an edge for that. People might not enjoy those kinds of settings. I do. But I will be reviewing the game for Ace Eyes, so if you want to hear my opinion on Ghostwire Tokyo, you will get that. Let's take a look at the OpenCritic score, which is actually, the critic score here is a little bit higher to 77, but the recommendation score is only 66%. So that's lower. I think the thing with Ghostwire Tokyo is this is a really niche game to a niche audience. Not everyone will enjoy it. And to me, it's a lot in the trailers and the gameplay that I've seen. So to me, it might speak more than others. It seems that we have two good games on our hands, at least from what I've seen from the reviews. And I'm really interested in checking these two games out. What do you guys think of these scores? 80 for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and 70 into the 70, 75 to 77 for Ghostwire Tokyo. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you going to get either of these two games? I will be getting Ghostwire Tokyo myself. Like and subscribe, that would be really cool. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.